Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Today I would like to share with you some tips and techniques that I use when I draw graphite drawings or portraits. So here you can see the things that I'll be using, and I've put a list of the exact supplies that I'm using in the description box below. So I like to start by turning my reference picture to black and white, which makes it easier for me to see the shapes that I need to draw and the things I need to focus on. So I'll put a link to that in the description below. After I'm happy with the face that I sketched out, I search for the darkest and brightest areas of the picture. It is important to keep these values to create more contrast and more dimension to the face. So now you can see me lightly shading the face with an HB pencil and erase the parts that I want to make brighter. Then I blend everything together in light and circular motions using a tissue paper to create softness to the skin. Then I go over the parts that I want to darken with the same HB pencil to create more contrast and define the shadows. So basically I just go back and forth with my HB pencil and sometimes add a little more darkness with the 4B pencil or blend everything together with the tissue paper. So you can see that I'm using the cotton swabs for the lips and the area around the eyes. And I like using the cotton swabs for smaller and darker areas because it's more precise and I can get more control over the area that I'm blending. As I darken the shadows and create more transitions from dark to light, I follow the natural curves of the face. You can create more dimension in areas like the forehead, nose, and cheeks by applying the graphite in curvy lines. I also blend with the direction of the curve to make the face look rounded where it should be. When drawing the hair, it's really important to follow the natural curves and the direction of the hair to create a more realistic look. I start by using an HB pencil to create the groups of hair and define the strands and the direction of the hair. Then I go over with the 4B pencil to create more shadows where there should be more shadows. And I use the cotton swab to create a smooth and a flowy texture to the hair. And then I go over with the HB pencil again to add more volume and create a hair texture where you can see the little hairs. And again, you can just see that I'm going back and forth with the HB pencil and the 4B pencil and so on and so forth. There isn't really much to it. It's pretty simple and it is a great technique if you're starting out or even if you're more advanced. So the fine tip of the eraser helps me to get more precise highlights. So I go over the parts that I want to lighten with the eraser and then go over it again with the HB pencil to blend everything together and preserve the hair texture. So basically you can see that I'm just going back and forth. I'm adding some HB and 4B and I'm erasing some parts, and it's totally okay to erase and redraw because it doesn't always turn out the way you imagined it would, and making your adjustments is perfectly fine. The technique that I'm showing you right now is just the technique that I like to use, and you don't have to follow it exactly. You can make your own adjustments, and this is just what works the best for me and for the result that I would like to achieve with my drawing. Actually, the first drawing that I posted to my Instagram art account about a year and a half ago, I think, was of John Lennon, and I remember that I drew him on a really big piece of paper because it was an art class assignment to draw a portrait with graphite, and it was pretty much the first big drawing that I really put my heart into. And I remember I was so proud of how it turned out, and I thought that it looks just like him, and I was really happy with it at that time. And I think it does have like a really nice style to it, but it's pretty different from how I draw now. The technique is still there, but the way that I draw the face and I pay attention to the proportions is a lot different, and I will also make a video about that, showing the process of sketching. And I just want to say that it takes a lot of practice to get to where you want to get with your art. And if you have a goal that you want to set for yourself, go ahead, set it for yourself, study different techniques, see people here on YouTube, and get inspired. And there's nothing wrong with experimenting when it comes to art or anything in life, and you just need to figure out which way works best for you. Then I shade the neck by creating curvy lines from both sides of the neck and keeping the middle brighter. Then I blend it together and define places like the Adam's apple. So in art, whether it's traditional or digital, there is a lot of trial and error, and trying again and again and again, and it can get pretty frustrating at times or upsetting, because you have this image of what you want to achieve in your head, but you just can't get it out on paper the way you want it to be. And I've been struggling a lot with it, and I still struggle with it, and I'm not always 100% happy with how my drawings turn out. But something that is really important to remember is that with every drawing you get better, and you can see significant improvements over time if you draw consistently and learn new things and try to follow along to tutorials on YouTube. And it may seem like a waste of time, but it isn't, and for the long term you'll be really happy that you invested time in practicing and drawing. And also remember that nothing has to be perfect, because by the end of the day you are drawing for yourself, and you're drawing because it makes you happy and you love it. So I want to tell you guys to never give up on your dreams or passions, whether it's in art or anything else in life that you really love, to feel that you're struggling with.